the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hey, Ernie Johnson here, and I'm joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll see the Boston Celtics playing against the Los Angeles Lakers at Staples Center. Looking at the Lakers, they need some wins to start adding up here in a hurry. More or less half the season behind us, and they are still struggling to prove they can contend. And the Boston Celtics, stockpiling assets and players in recent years, a great coach in Brad Stevens. Does this team have what it takes to control the East, Shaq?
You know, depth can only get you so far, Ernie. In my opinion, I still think they need multiple superstars to really compete for a title. But they play hard every night, but they're still 1, 2, 3, 4 superstars away.
Wow, 4? That's a
Four.
whole team.
Nobody has 4 superstars.
Well, if they get a big 4, they will definitely win.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
I bet if any team had a big 4, they did. Yeah. I'd say this, Ernie, that combined with the new guys that they've got, I think that overall they are right where they need to be. They might be 1 player away. I don't know about 3, 4, 5, but just 1 player away from being a champion.
They need a big 3 or 4.
Thanks for joining us. We will now go courtside. Kevin Harlan has the call.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday night edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, our Hall of Fame sideline reporter David Aldridge. And a special treat here tonight. Joining us courtside is 5-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant. Kobe, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure to stop by and help out.
We're going to have a lot of fun tonight.
I'm sure.
In the last 2 meetings for these two teams, the Celtics were handed a loss when they went up against the Lakers.
And if there's one aspect of the game that really stood out for me, it was the rebounding. Basketball is about possessions, and you saw a noticeable difference in terms of the effort both teams were putting forth.
Simply got outworked under the boards, guys. I mean, that's the no-brainer of the deal. I mean, they got pushed around all game long.
Now let's send it down to David Aldridge, standing by from the sidelines. David?
Well, guys, Luke Walton played 10 seasons in the NBA, but it wasn't until near the end in 2011 that he started to consider coaching. Walton says, "I never thought about it until I hurt my back." Now, while he was out of action, Phil Jackson invited him to sit in on the coaches' meetings. Walton said, "I realized that I like that side of the game." And Kevin, he succeeded Phil Jackson as head coach of the Lakers. Back to you.
It definitely did, David. He won titles when he played for the Lakers. Now he'll try to bring that winning mindset back to L.A. And in the history of the NBA, only a handful of players have lasted 20 seasons. Kobe, you played all 20 with the Los Angeles Lakers, an NBA record for seasons with one team. What does it mean to just having worn that Laker jersey your entire career?
Well, I mean, it's a huge honor. I've always been a massive Laker fan, even when I was a kid. And so I never dreamed that I'd actually be wearing the golden armor for my NBA career. So to be sitting here right now, having played 20 years, is literally the coolest dream that could have ever happened to any kid. Happened to me.
And I don't know that it'll happen again. The way the league is structured now, the money, the free agency, even though you had a chance to leave a couple times, you always chose to stay.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's you know, loyalty is a word that you hear thrown around often. But in this day and age, it's very tough to see in sports because of the cap, because of...
And what amazing athleticism from Brown, putting on a show out there with slams like that.
Talk, Kobe, about some of the great one-on-one scores. You might be the best ever, actually. But when you take a look at the crop now, who are some good guys in that one-on-one category that you like?
Kyrie's sensational.
Yeah, great handle. How about his handle? Like one of the best ever, man.
Yeah, but he can post too, though. I mean, that's the thing, is he can post up. He can turn left shoulder. He can turn right shoulder. He can shoot a left-hand jump hook coming across the middle. He can pull up going left. He can pull up going right. He can attack off the handle. He can attack off a triple threat. You know, he's built the game without any weaknesses. I think most players, should be thankful that he's not 6'6".
You're right. He'd be Kobe Bryant then, right? He'd be Kobe Bryant. But I always thought that, when his dad played, played big-time college basketball, played in Australia. Your dad played. I mean, there is something inherent, regardless of how much, that comes from the son of a pro player.
Growing up overseas as well.
Well, exactly, in Australia.
Growing up overseas as well. And look at his game being so fundamentally sound and having basic structure. There's a lot to be said for that.
Absolutely. Pick by Horford. Irving kicks to Horford. Here's Baines. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over.
Great effort, terrific instinct. It's just solid all-around play, Kevin.
Trying to go for an alley-oop, but excellent defense and anticipation there to stop it. Here's Irving. 17 points for him last game against Orlando. The 9-foot shot. The pass to Baines. No good on the shot. For Los Angeles, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. And it's Ingram missing.
Yeah, that's just poor decision making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Greg, I just think he was in a hurry. He flat out rushed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He actually was in a brain neutral position.
And he just elevates and powers in the one-hander.
Textbook.
I'm glad he didn't go overboard and try to do too much there.
Feeds it to Ball from downtown. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by James. Just a moment to look back at how things were last season for this team as we look at the shot breakdown for the Celtics.
And their offense centered around the three-point shot. That was the guiding principle on every trip. Their first goal was finding an open look beyond the arc, getting that extra point every chance they could.
And here in the first, approaching 3 minutes played. Kobe, you were a player who lived in the gym. What motivated you as you go back and look at all those hours you spent in the gym to do that, to follow that path?
I loved it. I loved the game. It wasn't a matter of working hard. I didn't realize I was working hard until like my second or third year in the league, when I realized here in the NBA, a lot of players don't do that.
Right.
It was kind of a big shock to me. Like, I assumed everybody in the NBA
just worked hard.
Yeah, but to me, it wasn't hard work. It was like, I love doing this. Like, there's no place on earth I'd rather be than be here in this gym with a basketball in the hoop.
But the greats are always the hardest workers, aren't they? I mean, right, have you ever seen a great player who is not the hardest worker on their team?
No, I've seen players have great seasons. And, you know, and then the next season, it's not so much. Right. And then they have another great one. And the consistency isn't there. The truly great players love what they do. And that looks like hard work to the outside world.
Did you enjoy playing the game? There was so much you put into the game, but did you enjoy the game?
I did. I enjoyed the game. I loved playing, the competition and all that, the getting ready and all that. But I enjoyed practice more.
Did you?
I did. I enjoyed training and practice more than I did the games.
And the trend around the league, Kobe, is more offense, more three-pointers, certainly spacing, fluid offense. Scoring is up around the league in a measurable way from, it seems like, year to year. Do you like the way this is trending, or do you think the NBA should maybe put a governor on this, harness it in just a little bit?
Well, I think it'll swing back to the way, I mean.
Do you?
Yeah, because the game has gone through that progression before. It's constantly evolving.
One shot.
And so I think you'll see it swing back eventually. You'll have a couple teams that are just big and may have a dominant post player, and all of a sudden you're going inside, and then that team will win a championship, and then the rest of the teams in the league will try to copycat the way the game is played that way. Then things will swing back. So it's just natural evolution of the game, I think.
We're watching a legend, and LeBron James said he's chasing a ghost. He wants to be the greatest player of all time.
Hayward on the wing, and there's the feed to Horford over James. Horford, no luck.
Yeah, good interior D there, prevents the deuce.
And, that's not easy at all. When guys get this close to the bucket, it's tough to stop the basket. Boy, you got to love that assist by LeBron.
For Boston, they come into this one following a loss to Orlando.
Well, listen, I've seen worse performances offensively, but no doubt that group was inconsistent.
For sure. Agree with you there. They just didn't have it. Seemed like they were a step behind and out of sync.
McGee sets the pick for Ingram. For three, Caldwell Pope off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt. Well, Kobe, something that's such a huge tool in the NBA and the team's offense is the pick and roll, the screen roll game. You've done it as well as anybody. Just how are the nuances and the attention to detail important to make that play work?
Well, it's really important, but the screen roll today is run differently than it was, say, when Utah was running it with Stockton and Malone. what you're seeing now is more of a spread floor screen roll action where it makes rotations very difficult because you have to rotate off of shooters at a distance.
Right.
So now what you tend to see more teams try to down pick and roll coverages and sending guys to one side of the floor and try to play the screen roll coverage with 2 men and try to not have 3 guys in the action. You have to rotate and now push your team behind, right? And that it's a dance of, can you play the screen roll with just 2 guys? And on offense, can I force you to have a 3rd guy come in and rotate? If I can do that offensively, then you're behind.
James dishes the ball. Over in the corner, Caldwell Pope. A 3-pointer, no good. Looking at Los Angeles, they took the win in their last game against New York.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, I thought the opponent's defense just never showed up.
Yeah, you know what? The waters were calm for most of the game. I mean, little resistance, felt like they could get any look they wanted at any time.
And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for Los Angeles.
Guys, they are dialed in from beyond right now. They didn't waste any time getting into a groove in this game.
The other thing they've had going for them tonight is their passing. I mean, doing a nice job. Plenty of their points early on coming off assists.
And the first one drops. And good on the second, so he makes them both.
Textbook shooting from the stripe. Great form, soft release, mark it up.
LeBron kicks to Ingram. Nice ball movement here by the Lakers. And LeBron with the basket, the assist by Ball. And that's now 11 points for LeBron. Kobe, a big part of the talent evaluation today is the psychological impact in that aspect, which I think will lead teams toward one prospect over another. If you were looking for personality traits in players and you were making that decision for a team, what trait would you value the most in a player?
No, curiosity. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's curiosity.
Why so?
Because curious people will always ask why things work or don't work.
And you were a big why asker.
You have to, because that's the only reason you win, is when you can figure out why things happen or didn't happen. Right? If you lose a game, a curious person won't point the finger. A curious person will say, well, why did we lose? You know, instead of just saying them,
right.
They're going to look at, go back and check the film and ask questions. Okay, why did we mess up there? Why did we blow that coverage there?
Well, Kobe, you look at all the former Defensive Player of the Year, and they're almost always big men. You were a 9-time first-team all-defensive selection in the NBA. Do you think guards sometimes get overlooked at the impact they have in a game and a play?
Yeah, they definitely do.
All the time, huh?
I think the bigs have a huge responsibility in protecting the rim, and those things are very easy to measure.
Right, block shots and exactly. Rebounding,
altering shots or defensive rebounds. For guards, it's tougher. But still in all, there's some guards out there who have done it. You know, Michael and Gary Payton and, you know, Kawhi Leonard, I count him as a guard. You know, they're just phenomenal defensive players.
Where does that mindset come from, that defensive mindset, when you're an offensive gifted player like yourself?
Well, I think that's a truly competitive person. You know, some players will call themselves competitive, but you're not truly competitive if you only compete at one end of the field. That's not what true competitive people do.
For a guy like yourself who made an incredible amount of three-point shots during your career, what is it like watching Steph Curry? Just how much has he changed the league? It was always watching the dunks of Jordan. Now we got kids that want to shoot the ball from distance.
Yeah. Shooting the ball from distance now has kind of become like a home run in baseball, right? Where it's exciting to watch the ball in flight. I think it's great because it just adds more love to the game, more things that players could do that, or kids can do that can't dunk.
Take a break.
Right? It's like dunking was the thing, right? But now for kids that can't dunk, there's something else that's fun. There's something else that's entertaining, like shooting threes. Right? So
but boy, that takes a lot of work. Huh?
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it's a lot of repetition.
Hundreds of shots daily.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition. I mean, you know, Steph, you watch him out there playing and making all these shots. He's put in hours and hours and hours of hard work and continues to do so.
Hard, he's checked in for Caldwell Pope. And then for Boston, Marcus Morris comes in for Al Horford. And it's Tatum in for Gordon Hayward. And both free throws good for LeBron. With that three-point shooting on the rise, Kobe, if you were coming into the league right now, would you try to lean more in that direction than the incredible acrobat that you were when you were in your prime?
It depends who I was playing against. You know, I try to build my game to be able to do all those things.
And you could. I mean, you're like one of the few guys that could do all this.
Yeah, so it just depends on who I was matching up against, which determines then how I would try to punish the defense.
I like that word.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a softer one. And I was like, yeah, no, punish is a good
You're
one.
honest. You're honest. And he makes the first. So last season, Kobe, one of the closest MVP races we've had in a long time, came down to Westbrook and Harden. Who did you think was going to win before the results came out, and why?
Yeah, I didn't even stop to think about that because they're both like little brothers to me. So even though I could sit there and say,
LA
okay,
kids too.
Yeah, I know them both extremely well, and they're both extremely deserving of it. So I refuse to split it.
Yeah,
you know, they're both my guys.
And different kinds of games, and both sensational individual players.
Yeah, they're just phenomenal. I mean, they can do so many things in the game, and now I think the next progression for them is to be able to dominate the game off the ball just as much as they can dominate on the ball, right? Because in the playoffs, the defense has a hard time finding them.
Here's Rozier, and he banks in the layup. Rozier's got his first points of the game.
And that's his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the D and finish at the rim.
Pass to Kuzma. He feeds it to Stevenson. Outside Rondo. No one near him. No good. Now Boston takes it the other way. And to have the ball in your hands at all times, always bringing it up. It's exhausting, though, right? That's what they say.
But
now,
they
for
see
you,
the defense sees you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're handling the ball, the defense has eyes on you at all times. You're here. You're right in front of the defense. When you don't have the ball, you're moving behind them. Curry moves behind.
All the time.
He'll bring it up, pass it, and now he's running off the screens behind the defense, right? And it's hard to find him.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
Rip Hamilton the same way.
I know.
Jordan, flare picks, down screens, slicing into the post, right? Coming up to the pinch post. All those operational things take place behind the view of the defense.
The Lakers trail. Pass to Kuzma. Back to Rondo. Stevenson outside. Pass to Kuzma. And that time, also a missed shot.
Well defended, though, and he's not someone who handles that kind of pressure very well.
Rozier, the pass to Tatum. That shot misses, and the Lakers take it the other way. Kobe, that fadeaway jump shot here is such a foundational part of your game. What's the key to that particular shot, and who's carrying the torch for that shot now?
Well, yeah, the fadeaway is there's different ways to shoot the fadeaway. There's a Hakeem Olajuwon way of shooting the fadeaway. There's a microwave shooting the fadeaway.
Oscar used to do it, and I know you.
Oscar used to do it quite a bit. So I try to use bits and pieces from each, depending on the defender that I'm facing. But yeah, there's certain players that are carrying that shot now. LeBron shoots the fadeaway quite often, as does KD. He shoots it a lot. Clay will shoot it. You know, Kawhi will shoot it quite a bit off of pull-up jumpers and things of that sort. So there are a lot of players doing it.
Tell you what, that's impressive strength there from Tatum. You got to respect that. Even when you try to wrap him up, he finds a way to score.
First trip to the free throw line for him tonight.
Gotta admire what he's been able to do at the free throw line this season. How about over 90%?
You know, even in games where he hasn't been at his best this season, I mean, he still managed to get it done at the charity stripe when he gets his opportunities.
And that one misses.
Well, you like the confidence of Tatum. I mean, he enjoys tackling any challenge in front of him. Doesn't shy away. A true leader as a young player. Impressive.
Hey, Kobe, you know, when you take a look at great NBA rivalries, your mind goes more to the past than the present. I'm not sure why that is, but maybe you can enlighten us why rivalries seem to matter more or were more in our minds from yesteryear as opposed to today.
because we can recall where we were when. Right?
Yeah,
the recollection is always more powerful in retrospect, right? I mean, that's always, you remember where you were when, Magic hit that running hook shot.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some people can remember where they were when Nelson hit that shot that bounced off the back of the rim and almost touched the rafters and fell back in, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's those memories that create a lasting impact. And even though in today's game, you can look at it and say, there's no real rivalries in today's game. There are. But they're only sink in over time.
So you think the Cleveland-Golden State rivalry, because the greats are on opposite sides there, will linger and will resonate like that?
Absolutely.
Rondo kicks to Zubac. Here's Hart, and oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot two. That one on Smart. The Lakers have yet to miss from the free throw line. They're 3 for 3.
Shooting two.
The first one falls. Gordon Hayward's checked in for Smart. He hits both from the stripe. 41 seconds left in the first quarter. Here's Rozier. He's covered by Rondo. Kicks to Tatum. Hayward against Stevenson. And it's Hayward. That time on the assist by Tatum. 9 points for Gordon Hayward.
Oh, great ball movement there.
Rondo with it. Looking for his first basket still in this one. Stevenson left side. Over Hayward. Los Angeles with another miss.
The shot's there for him, and he's got to take it. I don't care if he doesn't convert. That's a shot he has to continue to take.
And we reach the end of the first quarter. Boston on top. They finish off the first quarter on a 14-4 run. And the second quarter about to get started. We'll be back in just a moment. And of course, as we've always seen with LeBron James, it's not just about the numbers, but his tremendous leadership.
I put all the pressure on me to be better and come through for my teammates. This is the position I put myself in. It's the position I put our team in, and as the leader and the guy that goes out there and make things happen, that's the way it's going to be.
Well, that there is straight talk from a man who does not pretend. LeBron James with a textbook example of how to take responsibility and lead.
And Kevin, that's why he is the king. He doesn't say, hey, I'm just one of the 5 guys. No, he knows who he is and what he has to do. Bottom line, he's the man. Climb on my shoulders, and I'm going to take you to the promised land.
And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And what do you guys think about Boston here in this one?
I think they play great D and up anything easy early on.
Exactly. I mean, they've made their presence felt on this end. Excellent job contesting shots so far.
We've got Lance Stevenson. Rajon Rondo is out there with Hart. Then it's Ivica Zubac. And it's Kuzma in at the 4 slot. That's the Laker 5. Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Guys, the league may have never seen a player with more control on and off the court than LeBron James. He is a superstar, a playmaker, a coach on the floor. Some say he's the GM, and he even has a stake in a player agent business. LeBron says it's his dream to one day own an NBA team. Well, he's certainly getting some practice. Kevin?
No question about it, David. He's well on his way. As important a player as we've ever seen in basketball. It's stolen by Morris. Hayward on the wing. He's covered by Rondo. Nice ball movement by Boston. Yabusele passes to Tatum. Here's Rozier. Shoots from 14. No good that time. Good D by Stevenson. And Kobe, how did you learn to watch tape? Because there are guys now watching tape and they'll just go, and you wonder if it's really even sinking in.
Trial and error.
Yeah, right. But really, that was it.
Trial and error. You know, you start looking at things, you start saying, man, like if I'm watching an edit on the player, and I watch one particular game, and then I look at the next game, and he's doing the same thing. And the next night, he's doing the same thing. Hold on, let me go back and watch. And then you start looking for consistent behaviors or patterns in their behavior. And then you think, okay, maybe that's something that's a tendency for him. Let me go back and check. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles, turn. 2 dribbles. Oh, my God. Yeah,
there
that's
it is.
it.
Here's the pattern.
Right, so what if I interrupt him between his first and second dribble and throw him off a rhythm? What'll happen then? Right? What if I know he's going to go 1, 2, turn right shoulder? I let him go 1, 2. Now I jump to his right shoulder. Now you can't turn there. What happens then? Right? You throw them off of their patterns.
Hey, Kobe, in recent years, we've seen a lot of players choosing in free agency to join up, join forces, join friends, other talented players. You know, think of Durant and Golden State, the big three with LeBron going down to Miami. What are your thoughts on that trend?
Well, you know, everybody's got to do what they feel is best for them. You know, personally, it wasn't really my cup of tea. You know, I'd much rather compete against those guys and do it that way. You know, if winning in LA wasn't going to happen, then it just wasn't going to happen. You know, I wasn't going to leave and go someplace else and join forces to try to win a championship.
How about recruiting players like, say, hey, come to the Lakers and you and I can do something special here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's fine. I mean, that happens. You know, players talk to each other, you want to play with each other. But it never crossed my mind to try to recruit another top player that I'm competing against.
Interesting.
You know, like never. Like I've always wanted to compete against them. So that's a little strange to me.
Ingram wide open, and it comes off the front of the rim.
Yeah, that's just poor decision making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Greg, I just think he was in a hurry. He flat out rushed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He actually was in a brain neutral position.
And you think, Kobe, of these super teams, it's like they need backup. Like a buddy, like walking down the hall in high school with the bigger guy, right? I don't sense you ever...
No, but it's like, you know, growing up, I watched Magic and Michael go at it. I watched Magic and Bird go at it. I don't want to see them play together.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't want to see that.
Right.
Like, what would my childhood be if Magic and Bird played on the same team? What would we be watching?
Magic's Lakers, Jordan's Bulls,
I mean,
Bird's Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, and even for Michael,
so and so.
If you ask Larry, you ask Magic, you ask Michael, they'd much rather compete against each other, right? Because you bring out the best in each other. They would have won every single championship from now until the day they retire. They played together, right? But that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is the competition.
And your team.
Yes.
The first one falls. You know, Kobe, the league seems to be moving away from isolation basketball, sometimes called hero ball, in favor of more ball movement, more of a fluid offense. What do you make of that trend?
Well, I think it's the right thing. I mean, if you look at the way the Knicks played, for example, when they had Bill Bradley, Busher, Phil was coming off the bench.
Well, you are a historian. You love the history of the game, don't you?
Oh, my God.
I mean, I can just tell working with you.
Yeah. Holtzman was coaching. You had Frazier out there. I mean, they moved the ball. I mean, everything was predicated on ball movement, as was the Celtics with Brett Auerbach. And then in the 80s, things changed a little bit. You start going to more isolation ball, where guys would post deep and force a double coverage to come all the way down to them, and then you start moving the ball around. Now you start seeing a spread offense where the ball's moving again like it was when the Knicks were playing and the Celtics were playing. And so, you know, I think it just depends on the style of defense that you're seeing and the personnel that you have. I think that determines your style of play.
Lakers trail by 10. And Kobe, you look around the league and you see a lot of former players as head coaches, guys that you actually played against. Have you ever thought about coaching down the line?
Nope. No, I have not. Not for me. You know, it's for them, though, but it's not for me.
I would think that it would be tough to try to get the same result out of players you coach and not comparing it to the way you play, the way you prepare, the way you were coached.
That's what I hear. I just don't have the desire to even think about it that far. I mean, it's not something that I'm into. But that's the challenges I hear. You know, when Bird was coaching, when Magic was coaching, I always hear that as being the challenge. But ultimately, you know, you have to find different ways to motivate players. And, you know, nobody's the same. right? So you just have to figure out how to get them to their highest level. But still in all, coaching is just not for me.
And Kobe, did the Laker front office ever talk to you or just brush an idea past you to get your opinion on things, whether it be a trade or a free agent signing or whatever?
No, we never really did that. We never had that kind of working relationship. And I think it's actually better that way because then it enables me to have a better relationship with the guys where they know I'm not involved in those decisions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because if so, it makes it weird. That relationship, guys get traded and teammates are looking at you and it's hard for them to trust you and all sorts of stuff. The most conversation I had was with Dr. Buss in this very shaky time.
Yes.
Where I voiced my concerns, and he said, listen, I promise you, we see the right trade, we will pull the trigger, and I'm going to do everything I can to get you a championship. I promise you that. And after he said that, I trusted him completely. That was that. And then the following year, he made a beautiful trade for Pau Gasol.
He sure did. And a couple championships. Worked out well.
Yeah, it did.
Ball dishes to LeBron. And that one is good. LeBron's got 5 points now this quarter. And with all the different technological advances in the league, you see a lot of player and coaches now reviewing clips and tablets and a lot of film sessions. I know you used to study a lot of the league's videotapes. How much easier is film study now, say, from the time in the late 90s when you got in the NBA?
It's so much easier.
Really?
Oh, my God. When I used to get in the hotel rooms, you used to have to call the front desk. They used to roll up the TV on the wheels.
With the VCR machine.
With the VCR connected to it, right? And I have to have all of these tapes. And you got to put the tape in, and you got to rewind it, and you got to fast forward it, and you got to rewind it.
Yeah.
Now it's just everything's right there in front of you, right? And it's very easy to skip and go to the next game and then jump back to the game before or fast forward to the fourth quarter. I mean, it's so easy now.
Free throw good from Kyrie Irving.
No wasted trips at all. They're taking care of business at the line.
One way to protect the lead, knock down those free throws, and 100% free throwing for the quarter, that's superb.
Caldwell Pope outside. McGee a screen. Clock at 6. Teardrop shot. And the Lakers get it back. And there's 2 points. Working on the glass, paying off that time. McGee's got his second basket of the night. Irving with the ball. Now guarded by Ball. Irving kicks to Baines. The dish to Tatum. It's Brown with the drive. A beautiful reverse layup. And after 20 years in the NBA, Kobe, you were able to play with so many teammates. Can you make a short list of some of your favorites over the years?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Pau Gasol for me. Derek Fisher.
And a quality person.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, right.
You know? And Derek Fisher, Ronnie Turioff is one of my all-time favorites. Lamar Odom, Shaq, obviously, Robert Horry, Rick Fox. I mean, I've been very fortunate to play with some great teams. Horace Grant, A.C. Green. I mean, let's go. Brian Harper. I mean, I can go on and on all day long. Brian Shaw. I mean, I was very fortunate to have some really good teammates.
He's been an absolute non-factor. Zero factor this game. Just a horrible performance from him.
And out of bounds as the Lakers gain possession.
And, you know, that pass wasn't deflected or anything, Kevin. Don't see that often. An unfortunate, unforced turnover.
Marcus Smart's checked in for the Celtics. Lakers trail by 9. Well, it seems like with more threes and more skill-based play, the league is adapting more of a European style of play. You grew up in Italy, Kobe. You know about that style. You appreciated that style. How did that impact your personal development as a player?
Well, tremendously. I mean, if you look at the era in which I grew up in Italy, you look at the players that came out of it, whether it's myself, Pau Gasol, Manu Ginobili. I mean, there's a lot of players that grew up in that same time frame that play the game fundamentally sound because I think all the coaches here in America are doing camps and clinics for coaches overseas.
Like Hubie Brown, right?
Exactly.
He would always go overseas in the summer.
Exactly. And so we were products of that teaching. So all of our coaches growing up were implementing the fundamentals and the basics of the game taught by these amazing American coaches. And so we're kind of fortunate in terms of the time that we grew up.
That Free throw good from Brown. And Kobe, while those coaches were imparting the fundamentals abroad, did that get lost in translation, you think, here in the States?
Well, I think they just took it for granted. I think players took it for granted. And you start seeing the teaching starts slipping. It's like, you know, if you have a parent that's constantly telling you to clean your room, after a while you start tuning out the parent.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that is what happened here in America, which is why you see some of our fundamental skills erode over time.
Are you saying that your girls, your 14, your 11, they tune you out?
Oh, my God, yes. I can say something a million times, but if Beyonce says it one time,
yeah. It's law.
That's it. Like, dude, I've been saying the same thing for years. No one listens to me.
Timeout called the Lakers. And Kobe, you played for a handful of coaches during your career. When you look back on it, was there one coach you wished you could have played for but didn't have maybe a chance to play for?
Greg Popovich. That's an easy one for me. Although I did play for him in several All-Star games.
Yes, you did.
And one particular All-Star game in practice, he came up to me and said, okay, do you want me to just kind of go through like a whatever practice, or do you want me to do the real thing? I said, Pop, you got to do the real thing, because I've been dying to see what really goes on inside these Spurs practices.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to give us a real practice, man.
Yeah.
And he did. And Tim just kind of looked at me and was like, dude, seriously.
What are you doing there?
Come on, you're killing me.
So what was a Popovich practice like for you, and how did you try to set the tone?
It was high energy. And we moved from drill to drill. And it involved a lot of passing and moving and spacing. And so all of the shooting, it wasn't any individual shooting. You know, all the individual shooting took place within a five-man offensive structure, of ball movement, of passing and cutting, and all of a sudden your shot comes here in the corner, and then you slide up to the next line, and you know, you dribble, penetrate, and kick it, and then you slide to the next line, dribble, penetrate, kick, right? So it involved constant movement where you're constantly training and conditioning the body that you're not just going to pass and stand and be a participant, right? You're going to be involved into that, in the action, not going to be a passive participant.
And a wide open look for James. No good from outside. Celtics leading by 11. Kobe, you got to play against some great defenders in the NBA like Draymond Green of Golden State and others. What are some of the things that, I mentioned Draymond Green, that he does as a player that you think separates him from the rest of the defensive guys in the league?
He does his research. He does his homework.
You can tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell. When you watch him play, he puts himself in position before the offensive player even attacks. And how does he know that? Because he's watched the film. He studies. He knows the player's tendencies. And so when you mix in the research to go along with his frame and the quick hands and the foot speed, then you have a defensive player that's a force.
Hey, Kobe, after dedicating pretty much your entire life to the game of basketball, a game that I know you love, you said you don't miss it. Why is that?
Well, because I've been through that process. I mean, I started playing the game when I was like 2 years old, and you know, playing professionally for 20 years, and I left no stone unturned. So there's no regrets there. You know, I've done everything I could possibly do, and truthfully, the game is still with me. You know, the discipline has changed. The industry might have changed, but the same approach, the same things that I've learned from the game, I carry with me to this day. So the game is still inside of me.
Some changes for the Lakers. Lance Stevenson comes in for Ingram. Rajon Rondo subbed in for Ball. Yabusele, he's checked in for Boston. Rozier comes in for Irving. Lakers trail by 13. Kobe, and any chance you might coach or might be a consultant to an organization, for instance?
Nah,
no, not at all.
Yeah, listen, players reach out to me and they'll call me and I'll give them advice, and I like it better that way as opposed to, you know, being tied down with one particular franchise. And you know, I like what I'm doing now, and any player from all over the world can reach out, and you know, I'm there for them in terms of providing advice or counsel.
Well, the story got out last year in the playoffs that Isaiah Thomas and you had some conversations.
Yeah. Well, you know, he reached out and had some questions about how to approach that particular series, and I just said, send me over the film. What are you looking at? And I'll tell you. I'll take a look at it and I'll tell you what I see, and then you can go from there.
He has been fantastic this quarter, guys. It's just the kind of effort they need if they're going to continue to trim the lead.
Here's Rozier. He's covered by Rondo. Smart kicks to Horford. 6 to shoot. The pass to Rozier. Goes to the reverse layup and drops it in. Rozier's got his second basket of the night.
Oh, terrific way to finish that move there, going to the basket.
Well, I have to say it's been quite a fun night with you, Kobe, joining our broadcast tonight. Thank you for spending some time with us and our fans. I'm sure they've all enjoyed it.
No, thank you. I've enjoyed it as well, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
And Clark, you've been broadcasting for the entire span of Kobe's playing career. How is it to share a booth with someone who you've watched progress throughout their entire career?
Well, it certainly reminds me that I'm moving into that last block on the demographic charts. I'm in the early third quarter, if you will, that's for sure. But it's a treat because it's wonderful to see how he grew as a player and as a man, and much respect for Kobe Bryant because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer and doing great things off the court, too.
And started hot, and he's only gotten hotter.
24 seconds left now here in the second. Now here's Rondo. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. Caldwell Pope with a screen for Rondo. 6 on the shot clock. Here's James. Great look, but off the mark.
Nobody even close to him, and he can't believe he doesn't knock it down.
And so it's the Boston Celtics with a 14-point lead as we bring the quarter to a close. And we'll see if they can keep up their tremendous shooting they've been dialed in so far from the field. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Kyrie, what was your plan for tonight?
I was trying to get assists in the beginning, and I'm just having a good time out here. Got it going a little bit. Enjoying myself.
Okay, Kyrie, we'll see you in the second half. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back after halftime as the third quarter gets underway.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here. Got Shaq, got Kenny the Jet Smith. We welcome you back to the halftime show on 2K Sports. Gordon Hayward wasting no time getting hot. He had 12 points, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. Kenny, what's your take on Boston so far?
They looked like they were playing an easy game of pitch and catch out there. The playmakers and finishers were in sync on every level. The assist disparity, now that was big. Now that's the reason why it's a blowout right now, and they play well.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on the Lakers?
Well, there are a few areas they need to improve on, but perimeter defense is priority numero uno. They got to be quicker to close out on the three-point shooters. You got to prevent the open looks. They weren't fighting through screens. They're just not doing enough, Ernie, especially outside.
And it's just about time now for the third quarter to get underway.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. What can you say, LeBron James? What an impressive effort today.
Yeah, what a shot in the arm he gave them in that first half. The three ball just kept falling.
Yeah, and you know what, as far as I'm concerned, keep feeding him. Got to ride the hot hand.
Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback.
And the Celtics gave up 4 players to get 1 in Kyrie Irving, but they already had so much depth. They could afford to sacrifice a bit for a superstar just entering his prime.
Second half underway. Here's who Brad Stevens got on the floor. Brown and Hayward out on the perimeter. Aaron Baines out there with Horford, and it's Irving in at the 1 spot. Took the opportunity when he saw it. Horford's got the opening bucket to start the second half for the Celtics.
And really for the Celtics, just a wealth of assets, but in reality, only so much playing time to go around. Sooner or later, you knew they'd make a move, and I think they got the best player in the trade.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Kevin, Celtics coach Brad Stevens is known for getting the best out of his players. He said every NBA player has an elite strength. Some of them have 10 of them. Those guys are the very best in the league, right? But every one of them is here for a reason. There are times where you can really soar with that skill. Kevin?
And that's why Stevens is already one of the best coaches in the league, David. You've talked about him for a long time, getting maximum results from every one of his players. Brown kicks to Baines. Knocked loose. Hayward passes to Baines on the wing. Brown. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. And Clark, a lot of former players had a specific instance when they knew they were special, the way they played the game of basketball. Did you ever have a moment like that where you realized that you could make it as a player?
Yeah, there was a time when that became more realistic to me, Kevin. And I grew up in Cleveland, and during the summers, a lot of the Cleveland Cavaliers would stay in the area and play pickup basketball to stay in shape. And I got a chance to bump heads with a lot of those guys, Jim Jones and the late Terry Furlow, Austin Carr, Bingo Smith, Mike Mitchell. And I was only 15, 16 years old. And while those guys were going at half speed, it gave me the encouragement that I might be able to get to where they were if I continued to work hard and stay healthy. So at 15 or 16, during one of those summers, I began to realize that I might have a chance to realize the dream of being an NBAer.
So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe.
And the vertical that Brown has is quite impressive. As relentless a finisher that you'll find in this league.
Stolen by Caldwell Pope. Fast break, the Lakers. Ball going up court. And the dunk by LeBron.
Well executed, and then you love the strong finish.
Fantastic speed on the break. Speed kill, showing no mercy in transition there, partner.
Irving attacking. Lets it go with a 3. Rebounded by the Lakers.
Well, it's surprising that he clunked that one. I mean, especially since the defense was nowhere to be found.
The shot's good from McGee.
And he's really shot the ball well, but it hasn't been contagious.
Celtics leading by 13. Brown kicks to Horford. Back to Brown. Shot clock at 6. Irving for 3. And it's Ingram with the rebound. LA's gone 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. McGee up top. He kicks it to Ball. Dishes to James. And again, it's the Lakers.
And when Ball has the ball, it's in good hands. He can run the offense, no doubt.
Here's Brown. Gets it to drop, and now he's shooting at a 5 for 8 clip. Los Angeles calls timeout.
And, you know, so often we hear about a player coming out as an elite athlete, but Lonzo Ball is an elite basketball brain. I mean, this guy sees everything on the court, a terrific passer, but more importantly, he's a guy that players like playing with. He really approaches the game like a 10-year vet.
And some changes here for the Lakers. Zubac is checked in for JaVale McGee, and Hart subbed in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. The Celtics also with a sub. Morris is checked in for Al Horford. Ingram dishes the ball. Nice ball movement here by the Lakers. Zubac, that's good. And with Lonzo Ball, you've heard all the comparisons to Jason Kidd as how he plays and views things as if it's a chess match. Greg, pretty good company to be in.
I tell you, that just shows the lofty expectations Ball has been saddled with, and he's the ultimate team player and plays to win. There are questions about his game, but what I always say is the fact that the players he plays with tend to play their best basketball, which I think is a reflection of his game.
Now, here is Irving. Not a lot of room. Scored the bucket. He's made 5 so far, shooting a very clean 5 of 7.
Guys, he has been a major factor, big time, outstanding at getting quality looks and knocking them down.
Ingram passes to LeBron. And Baines pulls it down. Baines has got 3 rebounds now in this one. Brown. Here's Morris. The rebound by the Lakers. Zubac has got his 5th rebound in this one. Here's Hart. Doesn't go that time. Now the Celtics take it the other way. Shot from 12. And Irving gets it to go on the assist by Hayward. Hayward's got 4 assists now tonight. Lakers trail by 13. LeBron James on the wing. He has 29.
That's one he knows he should have drained.
Here's Brown. It's in and good for his 6th field goal in 10 attempts.
And, you know, Hayward's floor recognition and composure, really impressive. Knows precisely when to pass over to the open man.
It's Ingram on the wing. Here's the screen. And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
Yeah, still moving a little bit when he set that screen. He'll argue that he was set, but I really didn't think so.
It was very close, and I wouldn't mind letting them play on that one. It wasn't blatant by any means.
Celtics leading by 15. Irving kicks to Baines. Back to Irving. To the inside. From 8. And it's Brown getting it to go. Brown's got 7 points for the quarter.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety.
Count the basket. Kuzma's got his first 2 points of the night.
And you just hate to give up those second chance points.
Yeah, those are back crushers. I mean, they really crack your back when you give teams second shots like that.
Outside Irving. Morris a screen. Feeds to Brown. 6 to shoot. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. And when Marcus Morris gets a defender in a one-on-one situation, Greg, he feels the most at home.
And part of that might be from going up against his twin brother all the time when they were young. Marcus Morris has a great knack to find a shot he likes. Terrific with his mid-range.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
The first one falls. Well, Clark, your whole career, you were a fantastic rebounder, really at all levels you played in. With that in mind, who do you think are some of the best rebounders right now in the NBA?
Well, for me, it's all about the consistency of getting rebounds at both ends of the floor, and I tend to lean towards those guys that get a bunch of offensive rebounds. So in that regard, Kevin Love, Hassan Whiteside, Andre Drummond, those guys are tenacious and highly productive on the offensive board.
Rondo passes to Zubac, and the dunk to finish it off. A beauty.
Yeah, and Rondo just working the ball around there. He loves finding his teammates when they're open in the sweet spots.
Here's Rozier. He's covered by Rondo. Pass to Yabusele. To the paint. Here's Rozier. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. And we take a look here at the shot chart for the Lakers.
And what a big-time game we've seen from him. He's been the one looking to create and get a shot each trip down the floor. Every time a shot falls, his confidence just grows and grows. Just an all-around tremendous offensive showing.
2 shots.
And the first one drops. And the Lakers breathe a sigh of relief this summer, retaining their lottery pick that had a greater than 50-50 chance of falling to the 76ers.
And you know what, Kevin? That's a huge boost for the franchise, drafting Lonzo Ball. They kept their pick, but that means they will lose their 2018 pick. No upside to losing games this season. They're going all in.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. Timeout called the Lakers.
Yeah, just hitting the reset button, a chance to kind of talk some things over.
Yeah, recalibration time with the timeout call there.
And Lakers head coach Luke Walton got his start as an NBA coach in Golden State as a top assistant. He said, looking back, he would have paid to coach under Steve Kerr with everything he's learned.
Wow, that's a high compliment from Walton. Kerr and Walton have very similar personalities, too. I mean, both are pretty even-keeled, low-key kind of guys. And when Kerr's back surgery sidelined him, Walton led the Warriors to the best start in NBA history. Pretty amazing.
And stolen by Tatum. And the basket by Rozier. Rozier's got 8 points. And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Celtics.
Their high-energy defensive effort has paid off for them, guys, with more than a few steals over the course of the ball game.
Yeah, and also the way they've been able to generate points off of the turnovers that they forced tonight has also helped.
Passes it to Kuzma. Now here's Zubac. Guarded closer. Rebound Boston.
And that's solid defense, rock solid, contesting without fouling. Well done.
Swiped away and out of bounds as the Celtics gain possession.
All right, a chance to take a look at the numbers for Stevenson. How his last 10 games have gone. He's putting up about 8 points a game, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. And you look at those numbers, not bad, but guys, I think he can do better, and he knows it.
And he has high expectations for himself as well, guys, but he just hasn't delivered fully on his potential yet.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
To stop the run, he lays it in. 8 points for him.
And those are 2 teammates right there working in rhythm. One setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation.
Rozier kicks to Morris. Here's Yabusele, and he throws it down hard with one hand.
And although an undersized center, more than making up for it with some serious hops.
Rondo dishes to Stevenson. They grab their own miss. Here's Zubac. The layup off target.
And the shots just continue to say no in terms of falling.
Here's Morris. Rebound the Lakers. Zubac has got rebound number 8 now on the night. Takes it from 10. Off the left rim and out.
Not pretty. You've just got to shake off a miss like that.
Shot from the wing. And it's Rozier missing.
Yeah, that's just poor decision making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Greg, I just think he was in a hurry. He flat out rushed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He actually was in a brain neutral position.
Tatum passes to Morris. To the wing on the left. Nice ball movement by Boston. Here's Rozier. He's covered by Rondo.
Is it me, or does it just feel like he gets every rebound that comes up?
Well, he practically has gotten every one that's available. A 20-plus rebounding game is not something we get to see very often, Greg.
Makes it off the glass.
And although not the biggest guy, you got to love how Rondo uses his body inside. Has a great touch as well around the rim.
Smart kicks to Rozier. Off the pick. And the rejection by Zubac. Now here's Rondo. Defense right on him. And they double up Rondo. Pass to Kuzma. Here's Hart. To the paint. He dishes it to Rondo. And the foul on Marcus Smart. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far. And the Lakers with some changes. JaVale McGee comes in for Ivica Zubac. And it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in for Hart. Boston also with the sub. Horford's checked in. We've got 1:28 left to play in the 3rd. Caldwell-Pope kicks to Stevenson. Sinks the triple. Stevenson's got 11 points.
Yeah, liking the vision there from Caldwell-Pope, looking to get his guys going when they're open.
Oh, and the jam by Tatum.
An athletic forward who dunks it with style, Kevin. He's showing off his dunking ability right there.
That Unleash Chaos Under Armour replay really giving us a good look at the action. McGee a screen. Kuzma passes to Rondo. On the wing, Stevenson. Back to McGee. The feed to Rondo. 6 to shoot. Caldwell-Pope outside. And it's off from three-point range. Oh, and there's the alley-oop. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop. Another miss by Caldwell Pope. Celtics leading by 18. And here's Smart. He has 7. Out left to the wing. Shot from 16. Not enough on that one as it misses. On its way from Caldwell Pope for 2. Another miss by Caldwell Pope. And so it's Boston with an 18-point lead as the quarter comes to a close. They've excelled in the open court. Their transition game has allowed them to build this healthy lead. Back right after this. Now let's listen into the huddle of Brad Stevens.
Hey, we're doing so many good things on offense. Keep moving it. Keep looking for it. We just have to challenge as well as we can down here.
And Brad Stevens happy with their motion. They're shot making, but still looking for more stops on D.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels like there's more you can do defensively. And that's probably the case here. They just have to keep grinding out on the floor.
And we welcome you back as we get going here in the fourth quarter. The final quarter of play can change everything. We've got Caldwell Pope. Lance Stevenson is out there with LeBron James. Then it's Rajon Rondo. And it's McGee in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. That's who's in the game for the Lakers. Now here's Smart. He's guarded by Caldwell Pope. And they get it back. Here's Rozier. And Stevenson pulls it in. Lakers trail by 15. James outside. That 3 off the mark. The Celtics shooting 55% from the floor. They're feeling very confident offensively. Rozier kicks to Smart. Over Caldwell Pope. In the corner, Smart with it. Goes back up. That shot misses. Caldwell Pope with some nice D. Here's LeBron. Kept alive. Here's McGee. Missed inside. Celtics leading by 15. Smart passes to Rozier. Boston again missing.
Boy, he has been cold for a while now.
Yeah, he has been, and he's got to find his stroke because he's holding back his team as a result of his poor shooting.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agendas.
Yeah, and it's really fun to see that kind of unselfishness. Really hard not to appreciate all the assists they've racked up.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over.
And one of the more surprising moves this past offseason was when the Pistons let KCP go. Two sides couldn't see eye to eye on a contract, and eventually they let him be an unrestricted free agent.
Ingram, he's checked in for the Lakers. Ball comes in for Rajon Rondo. And a new group in for the Celtics. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Yabusele. Hayward comes in for Tatum. Brown, he's checked in for Marcus Smart. And Kyrie Irving subbed in for Terry Rozier. All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Hey, guys. Well, I was able to listen in on what Brad Stevens was talking about with his players. He gave them props for their defense. He said, the defense has been outstanding. Keep pressuring them, forcing turnovers, and we can win this one. Guys?
Ball dishes to LeBron. And so it looks like the Lakers will retain possession here. And Greg, Caldwell Pope ultimately ends up on the Los Angeles Lakers. Strange to see such a talented player get renounced by his old team, the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, you just don't see that very often. And after the Bradley trade, the Pistons seemed ready to move on. Lucky for the Lakers to pick up a player like Caldwell Pope so late in free agency.
McGee against Brown, and he gets the bucket. Brown's got 20.
And Brown is just so physically imposing. I mean, especially inside where he usually gets whatever he wants.
LeBron kicks to Caldwell Pope. Shoots over Brown. Some solid defense from Brown.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one.
Nice ball movement by Boston. Irving drives in. Count that as his 7th field goal in 10 tries. He's shooting a very good 70%.
Yeah, you know, you got to appreciate the speed of Kyrie Irving. I mean, incredible at finding different ways to get to the basket, and he is not afraid of anybody.
Caldwell Pope passes to LeBron. Tries from 16, and Baines pulls it down. Baines has got 4 rebounds in this game. Irving dishes to Brown. They set the pick. Irving drives in, and so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
While some are still speculating as to why Kyrie wanted out, the reality is, and it's this case with all great players, he feels like he's good enough to be the man on a team that can contend for a championship. And you might question how he went about it, but he's basically been a pro in his approach, and now he's got the chance.
Take a break. 2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good.
And there is going to be a lot of discussion over Irving's decision to want out for a long time. And what he does the next few years may end up defining his legacy. He is all in on himself, and it could pay off huge or fizzle out.
And good on the second, so he makes them both.
I don't know if there's a player in the league that has better handles than Kyrie Irving. As a matter of fact, his handles are as good as any I've seen in the history of the game. Smooth, crafty, cunning. Man, it is so much a joy to watch this guy do his thing.
Brown outside. He feeds it to Irving. Horford sets a screen for Irving. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. Often modern NBA players will get criticized for not being sound enough with their fundamentals. Clark, do you feel that's a fair statement?
I really don't. I think it's a bit of an overreach. You know, we all have revisionist history. Things were always better in our past than they are currently. I mean, the stories get better as we get older is one of the ways I've heard it framed.
2 shots.
I think the players are more athletic, and because they play growing up in more structured environments, I think sometimes they don't get the same nuances and feel for the game that you would get from just playing organically. But I still think fundamentally the players are quite good, and I do think that's a bit of a reach as a sweeping statement that they're not as sound fundamentally today as they were in the past.
Both free throws good from Kyrie Irving. And the Celtics franchise with the league-leading 17 NBA championships, their last in 2008.
Yeah, and with the talent and assets they possess, they might be in the hunt for banner number 18 before you know it. One of the beasts of the East, without question.
Count that one.
Boy, I tell you, I don't know if there's anybody better than Kyrie Irving close to the basket. He has a great feel for how to score inside.
Caldwell Pope kicks to James. Back to Caldwell Pope, and the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Caldwell Pope. Here are the Celtics with the ball. They've gone on a 10-2 run, not allowing much. Irving passes to Brown. And the dunk by Brown.
Hey, guys, you're not going to slow down Brown when he's scoring the ball like this. I mean, he's simply on a tear right now.
And stolen by Hayward. To the wing right side. Horford kicks to Irving. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It goes on Brandon Ingram.
Well, you look at the Lakers as an organization, and we know historically one of the great sports organizations in any sport. The reputation, though, has been slipping a bit in recent years. The front office moves last season, bringing what they hope will be some stability and certainly a bit more prestige to the team.
2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good. And when you look at the Lakers' new front office, do you think it'll be an improvement?
Time will tell, Kevin. I think that's hard to predict. The pieces certainly lean towards success, but it's a hard job. Certainly there's more credibility now. I don't think there's any question about that.
And so he hits both. And Clark, we know that players are evaluated in a historical perspective, largely by how many rings they have. Do you think that's a fair way to evaluate things?
I don't think you can solely evaluate an individual player in a team sport by the number of rings he's been able to win. Clearly, it can be part of the criteria, especially if you're talking about great players who have had similar careers. It can be a differentiator. But to me, it doesn't necessarily carry the weight that some people like to give it in evaluating players. Individual performance over time is what, to me, marks the hallmark of a player worthy of Hall of Fame consideration or being talked about being one of the greats in the game.
That free throw, no good.
And I'm just not sure the league has ever seen a more intimidating slasher than LeBron James. A 6'8" bullet train. He's so strong, so quick, and if he gets a shoulder on you, watch out.
So he can't get either to fall. And LeBron always feels like he can get past his man. It's that next level of the D he focuses on.
And if I'm the help, I play him for the pass. I don't want to be in that poster. Maybe the most devastating finisher in league history.
Ball dishes to Ingram. Kicks it to McGee. They need this, and it's McGee with the jam.
Oh boy, to be young again.
Makes you nostalgic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does make me look back a little bit, but I could never throw it down like that. But it sure does look good.
Irving kicks to Baines. In the corner, it's Hayward. Offline with his three.
Boy, he's got a great stroke. That one almost dropped.
He lobs it up. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop. Outside Irving. Back to Hayward. Fires the three. Good, and the assist goes to Irving. Irving's got 6 assists now in the game.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass?
Well, when you look at the assist totals, heck, they've been clearly the better team.
And I love the momentum he's building. Last game, he was just as dominant.
Yeah, I concur. I mean, definitely on the roll right now. Seems like everything he's throwing up is going down.
On the wing, Irving. Over in the corner, Brown. Off the screen. And that one hits back iron. Los Angeles has gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the 4th quarter. And stolen by Hayward. And Baines kicks to Horford. Baines inside, guarded by McGee. Shots good by Baines.
Yeah, and give it up for the feed from Horford. He's a playmaker, and you love having a big man show off that kind of vision.
James, no good.
That's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
Mm-hmm. Textbook defense all around. Nice job at contesting the shot without fouling, and that's how you do it. Well done.
And I thought that was going to drop. It looked good from here.
Buries it from 3-point range. James has got a pair of threes here in the fourth quarter for the Lakers.
And he got loose from the three-point range in the first half and showing signs here that he's still got the flow in the second.
Outside Irving. Brown kicks to Hayward. Clock at 6. Shoots over Ingram. In the corner, Horford with it. Outside Irving. Well, the commissioner recently said the NBA will review, Clark, the one and done rule for college players. Any idea how that will change, if it will at all?
You know what? I'm not sure, Kevin. Quite honestly, when this rule was instituted about 10 years ago now, 10 or 11 years ago, I thought it would be good. I felt 1 year of college, if a guy was fully invested in that experience, would be better than no years. But I also understand college is not for everybody. And I'm actually of the mindset now that you should be allowed to leave right out of high school if you so choose. But if you do go to college, I would like there be a rule in place that there's a commitment to 2 years. I just think that would benefit all involved, the players, the universities, and I think the NBA would get a more mature and an NBA-ready prospect. That being said, I think we're going to end up, you know, kind of where we are right now. I don't know if anything is going to change in the near future.
Here's Brown, and he can't stop the run as he misses. Lakers trail by 19. Wide open. No good off the front iron.
Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
Right side Irving. The dish to Hayward. He's off on that one, so the Lakers will take it the other way. And the pass to Ball. Fires for three. They get it again.
Well, it's surprising that he clunked that one. I mean, especially since the defense was nowhere to be found.
Now, here is Irving. He's covered closely. It's good.
And the mid-range shot of Irving is impressive. He has wonderful form with that shot.
Timeout called the Lakers. They're trailing by 21. We've got 1:55 left in the fourth quarter of this one. And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Kyrie Irving.
And Kevin, it's a no-brainer. He's controlled every aspect of this game, and it's just so fun to see a player perform at a level that's just higher than anyone else out on the floor.
Coming into this game, he had been having a tough stretch. We all know that, but not anymore. He's back at his best, and I think it's safe to say that slump is over. A platoon swap here for the Lakers. And some changes here for the Celtics. We've got 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. Back to Rondo. Stevenson outside. Left side Rondo. And Boston with the rebound. Rozier's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Now here's Smart. D right on him. Morris a screen. Here's Rozier. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. And the Lakers, Greg, have acquired some intriguing young talent. Do you see this group blossoming into elite status?
I mean, there's still some question marks. Injuries have been an issue. I do see some all-star potential for some of their young fellas. Superstar potential, though, tougher to say. They've got something to build on, though, and that's key.
Shooting 2.
That one is off. With the versatility of modern players and the switching that goes on in defensive schemes, Clark, are traditional NBA positions meaning less and less in the game now?
I think we're finding that more teams are playing close to positionless basketball in many ways. So positions aren't nearly as important as skill sets with your 5 players on the floor. I think that's what you look at when you field your team.
That one misses.
And you look back to that Big Three era in Boston, you know, the Celtics have not been shy about aggressively trading to reshape this roster. You know, they've made a rapid rebuild that's really the envy of a lot of teams around our league. And this is going to end in a lopsided victory. I love the tenacity and aggressiveness as well as the ability to close. You really got to give it up here for Boston.
In the end, they had a better shooting percentage, and that's what made the difference. Sometimes, you know, things go your way. The other team wasn't catching many lucky breaks themselves.
Yeah, and Kevin, not all about luck. I thought their overall shot selection was better.
And so it'll boost this year's win total for them to 29.
No doubt they came in very motivated to win this one and finish the season series at a game apiece.
Absolutely. I mean, they had this date circled on the calendar for redemption. I mean, you never want to lose 2 games and be swept. And it can be harder in an East-West game than playing against teams in your own conference. So this is a big win for them.
And something we've come to almost expect is greatness from this guy. Such an overall great performance it was for Kyrie Irving.
Every time there was a big possession or a big play, he was a major contributor. Just a great all-around game.
Here's Rozier. And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
They sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Here with Gordon Hayward. Gordon, great effort for you guys tonight, and you get the win.
We did. We guarded extremely well. All-around effort by everybody. Great game. I thought we really moved the ball. Great win.
Excellent inside-out defense, Gordon. Congratulations. Back to you, Kevin.
David, thank you as always. And that'll do it, folks. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.